I'm 82 years old, and the only wish I have before I die is that an arrest is made and somebody is in jail for what they did.
So to not solve it weighs very heavily on me, quite frankly. It always has, always will. And you feel like you've failed to a certain degree.
I think every victim needs to know every detail about what happened.
I'm here today on behalf of the Winnipeg Police Service, on behalf of Nicole's family. I believe that there's still somebody out there that would have information that could help us.
We didn't have her very long. We discovered she was very independent. She could dress herself, and you could tell that she had to look after herself.
Memories of a bright, independent young girl are what Eleanor Hands holds on to. Those sweet memories, along with painful ones, tucked away in a binder full of photos and newspaper clippings.
Here's Nicole here.
Eleanor adopted Nicolle Catherine Hands when she was just 14 months old while living in Red Lake, Ontario. Throughout the years and moves around the province, Eleanor watched her daughter grow and connect to her Ojibwe roots. She danced in powwows and was working on becoming an Indigenous social worker.
She told us once that we would always be her parents, but she really wanted to know her roots.
Nicole moved to Winnipeg in the late 90s, and not long after is when her life took a tragic turn. In early October 2003, Eleanor received a call no parent ever wants to receive.
I got a call from the doctor telling me that she was there and she was unconscious, and I said, I'll be there tomorrow, but please try and keep her alive till I get there.
It was inside this apartment complex on Mountain Avenue, now burnt out and boarded up, where Nicole had been brutally assaulted and stabbed on October 2nd, 2003. Eleanor rushed from Kingston to Winnipeg to see her daughter clinging on to life in hospital and give Nicole's children an opportunity to say goodbye.
I'll never forget, they got off the elevator and they probably didn't know what was going on, but they saw me there and they just ran up to me and grabbed me, and we went into intensive care. And I'll never forget it. The oldest boy jumped up on the bed, grabbed his mom and started crying, and that was the last time they saw her alive.
Days later, Nicole died of her injuries, and the homicide unit took over. Jim Thiessen was leading the unit at the time and started pursuing every possible avenue, including interviewing witnesses who were very young. Nicole's 3 children and a babysitter were sleeping inside the apartment when Nicole was attacked.
They saw more than any children should ever see.
Police say her oldest son woke to the sounds of a struggle and saw his mother's attacker.
And when he got up and came into the kitchen to see this individual, the suspect in this particular case, male individual, standing over top of his mother, there were some words exchanged, and then the suspect ran from the scene. The fact was that, you know, he was there. He saw his mother in that particular situation, and I don't think you can help but feel for that young man and what he must be going, what he would have been going through at that moment in time, and now, you know, for the last, 21 odd years.
But with witnesses at the scene, Thiessen was hopeful their investigation could hit the ground running.
So I remember thinking to myself that with that kind of information, that we had definite courses of action to follow, and that, the potential for solving this case was high.
But weeks rolled into months, which rolled into years, and still the case was unsolved.
It's very difficult, actually. I mean, I believe that every homicide investigator, what drives them to be successful and to do their job successfully is the fact that they see themselves as the voice of the victim. It's stayed with me a lot, or it's stuck with me, significantly, and it's followed me through the last 21 years, and will continue. I'm quite sure.
No arrest, no justice, and no closure for the family. The unknown and the roller coaster of searching for answers taking its toll.
It's indescribable. The phone rings, the first thing I do is look and see what area code it is. And if it's area code 204, I get all excited. There were times when I thought of ending it all. But then I thought, I can't do that to the kids. So I pulled myself together and life goes on.
Eleanor says she's relied heavily on counseling and has also formed lifelong friendships with officers on the case. She's also looked at Karen Wiebe and the Manitoba Organization for Victim Assistance for support. Wiebe says a lack of answers only intensifies the trauma for family members.
It's grossly unfair for somebody after 20 years to not have the details. They want justice for their beloved one. But if there's no arrest and it's 20 years later, 20 years, and you're leaving this world yourself, isn't it only fair that people should be given the information that they need? People need that information to bring some peace, to deal with the trauma, to be able to get on with it. Somebody like Eleanor, I don't know what opportunity she has ever had to find peace.
In 2017, the case was taken over by Project Devote, an initiative by Winnipeg Police and Manitoba RCMP.
A lot of good investigators had looked at it. There's lots of avenues that have been explored and gone down. Time can kind of be positive in a sense, but it also is a bit of a detriment.
In 2020, there was a glimmer of hope, and an arrest was made.
We did find a new avenue that we pursued. In that avenue, I'm confident that the person that was arrested at that time was responsible for Nicole's murder.
He said, well, we got him and he's in a cell. And so I got all excited and I had to tell the kids, and we were all rejoicing.
But the suspect walked free not long after. The Crown determined there wasn't enough evidence to convict him of murder.
I was devastated. And the worst thing I had to do was tell Nicole's children that they had to let him go. And it's something I hope that I'll never have to do again.
Then, late last year, another development in the case that was difficult to process.
Unfortunately, now the suspect has recently passed away, which again is a giant frustration and not uncommon to some of the other investigations that Historical Homicide Unit experiences.
But while an arrest or justice is now out of reach, the case remains open in the name of seeking answers and closure for the family.
Something has happened within the case where somebody's passed away doesn't mean that automatically shuts it off. We're still working for those families, and we're still trying to provide closure in the best way we can to the families.
The case is never closed. The fact of the matter is I still believe, and I will continue to believe, that there are people in the city that know what happened.
A hope that Eleanor and her grandchildren are still holding on to.
I know somebody in Winnipeg knows who did it. And I ask, please, please, if you know somebody out there, please call and give the children and Grandma some peace and closure.
If you have any information on Nicolle Hands' murder, you're asked to contact the Winnipeg Police Service at 204-986-6222 or Crime Stoppers online or at 204-786-TIPS.